Okay, so lick 47, this one's based around a wide interval D Dorian phrase. And you'll see when I play it what I mean by the wide intervals. It's got a very specific kind of fusion-esque kind of sound. It goes like this, up to speed with the track. Okay, now the same thing with the metronome at 70 BPM. Okay, so for this phrase, the first thing I'm going to say is whenever you ascend to a note, you're going to use your middle finger to pick it if you do hybrid picking. If not, you probably want to use an upstroke. So definitely pay attention when I play this to what I'm doing with my right hand. It's really important, this, in order to get the fluidity. So we're going to start up at the 15th fret of the high E, pick that note with a downstroke and then hammer on to 20 with the little finger. Okay, then we're going to go 18 with the second finger on the B. And now you'll see I use my middle finger to pluck the 15th fret on the high E again. Okay? Now we're going to go 17 on the G with the second finger with a downstroke. Then I use my middle finger to play B18 with the third finger on the left hand. Okay, now another wide interval, 14, hammer on 19 on the G. And then 17 on the D with the second finger. 14 on the G, use the middle finger again, first finger on the left hand. Okay, then second finger on A17, third finger on D17, again use the middle finger on upstroke. Then another wide interval, 15 to 20, big stretch on the A string, that's a hammer on. And then 17 on the low E, and then we ascend up through our arpeggio going 15 on the A, hammer on 17. Downstroke on D17, third finger. 14, hammer on 19 on the G string, first and little finger. Now the third finger on B18, and then we're going to do 15, hammer on 20 on the E, pull off back to 15, and hammer on to 17. Here's the same thing again, nice and slow. Okay, let's move on to the next lick. Okay, so this lick number 48, is based around a B minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio that we're playing in a kind of Greg Howe-esque fashion. This is a lick I use all the time and sounds great with arpeggios sequenced through a particular key, but for this purpose we're just using it over the B minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, which sounds great over our D Dorian chord. Okay, in context, over the track sounds like this. Okay, here's the same thing at 70 BPM with the metronome. Okay, so for this lick we're going to start on the low E, on the B at the 7th fret of the E string. We're going to pick that note and hammer onto 10 with the little finger. We then grab the 8th fret on the A string with the second finger, Then do the same hammer on the E string again, but this time grab the 7th fret on the D. Okay, we're then going to go 10 on the E, then we're going to go 8 on the D, A, sorry, and then 7 on the D. Hammer on to 9 on the D string, so now grab the 7th fret with the 1st finger on the G, and now we're going to go up through the arpeggio again, so 9, so we get, and then do the same thing again, 7, hammer 9 on the D, and grab the 6th fret on the B. Okay, then we're going to go up the arpeggio going 9 on the D, and then 7 on the B, on the G, sorry, and then 6 on the B, and then hammer on to 10. So we've got. Now we're going to come down in thirds. So basically we go 6 to 10 on the B, and then 7 on the G, back up to the 6 on the, the B, and then we do D9 to G7. Now we're going to go 7, hammer on 9. Okay, and then to finish the lick, we're going to go 8 on the A, and then 7 on the D, and then we go 10 on the E with the little finger, and then we come back down to the 8th fret on the A, and then we're going to come down to the B again. And that's the lick. Let me play it again nice and slow for you, and then we'll move on to the next lick. Again, the picking there's up to you, but I use a combination of hybrid picking, so check out what I'm doing with my right hand as usual. Let's move on to the next lick. Okay, lick number 49, we're doing some slightly more crazy chords now. We've got a C major 7 sharp 5 chord, which is the 3rd mode of melodic minor, and I'm going to be playing an arpeggio based off of that particular harmonic area. Sounds like this, up to speed with the track. Okay, here's the same thing with the metronome at 70 BPM as usual. Okay, so for this lick we're going to start with the 1st finger on the C at the 3rd fret of the A string. Some tricky little fingering shifts in this. So we start with a stretch, 3, hammer on 7, okay, which is the root to the 3rd of this chord. Then we move to the D string, 3rd finger plays 6, and then we hammer onto 7 with the little finger. Then take the 1st finger on the 4th fret of the G string, slide up to 5, hammer on 9 with the little finger. So, okay, here's where the tricky thing occurs because of the tuning of the guitar. We need to now jump to the 3rd finger and hammer on from 9 to 10 on the B string. And that's where, if you're going to come a cropper on this particular phrase, it's that place. Okay, then we go to the E string, the high E, and we play 7 with the 1st finger, hammer 8, hammer 10, pull off to 7. And then B9 with the little finger. I can then G9, pull off to G5. That's 3rd to 1st finger if you can achieve that stretch. Otherwise you might want to do a little bar with the little finger. Then D9, pull off to D6. A7 with the 2nd finger. And then we've got E8, pull off to E7, landing on the 7th of the chord. Again, nice and slow. Okay, let's have a look at the next lick, which is also a C major 7 sharp 5 line. Okay, Penultimate line, number 50. This is again based off of a C major 7 sharp 5 sound, so we're going to be using a C Lydian augmented scale, as I call it, third mode of melodic minor. Kind of an interesting phrase, this one. Sounds like this up to speed with the track. Okay, let's hear the same thing again with the metronome at 70 BPM. Okay, so for this line we're going to start at the 7th fret of the high E. We're going to play that. I use my middle finger. Again, feel free to use an upstroke. Play that just once. Grab the 9th fret on the B string with the 2nd finger and hammer onto 10. Do that again. Now move back to the 5th fret on the high E. Play that with an upstroke or with the middle finger. And then hammer 7 to 9 on the B with the 2nd and little fingers. So. Okay, now bar across the whole of the top 3 strings on the 5th fret. Play the E string first with the middle finger or the upstroke, and then skip over to the G string, hammer 5 to 7. Okay, then we're going to go to the 5th fret on the B string, and we're going to go pick, hammer onto 9, pull off to 7, pull off to 5. Okay, now keeping that bar, we're going to go G5 with the first finger, then D6 with the 2nd finger. This is a phrase we've used in one of the other licks before as well. First finger down to 4 on the G, then little finger onto 7 on the D, and then 3rd finger onto 7 on the A, pull off to 5. Okay, then we put the 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the low E and hammer onto 8. A7 with the 2nd finger, and then D6 with the 1st finger, hammer onto 10, little finger of course, and then G9, pull off to G7. Here's that same phrase again, slow. Okay, we've made it onto the final lick. Let's have a look at it now. Okay, our final line, lick number 51, is a G altered scale line. Okay, so it's the 7th mode of, in this case, A flat melodic minor. And we're using it over a G7 altered chord, and it doesn't resolve, it's just a static groove. Long, snaky legato line. Again, you could pick this if you wanted to, lots of chromaticism. Sounds like this with the track. Here's the same thing with the metronome at 70 BPM. Okay, so for this final lick, we're going to move right the way through the fretboard, pretty much from the 3rd and 2nd fret right the way up to the 13th fret. We're going to start at the low G on the 3rd fret of the low E string. Lots of chromaticism here. Again, remember, you can pick this lick if you want to, if you're not a legato guy like me. So we start on the 3rd fret, we're going to go chromatically up to the 6th fret, hammers. Then go to the second fret on the A string and go 2, hammer 4, hammer 5, hammer 6. Okay, now to the third fret of the D string, we pick the third fret, hammer 6, pull off, hammer 4, hammer 5. The pull off's to the 3 again, by the way. Okay, down a little arpeggio figure to break up the scalar nature we've had so far. 3 on the G, 5 on the D, 6 on the A. So, next bar, we pull off to the 4th fret on the same string, hammer 6, hammer 8. Switch over the fingers here from 3 to 2. Now chromatically up on the D string from 5 to 8. Now we get this little figure on the 4th fret of the G string. Pick the 4, hammer 8, pull off to 4, hammer 6, hammer 8. Now move over to the 6th fret, compress the hand, 6, 8, 9 on the B, pick, hammer, hammer. Now we put the second finger on E7, pick, pull off to the first finger on 6. Okay, now we get more arpeggio kind of lines. 9 on the B string with the little finger. 8, pull off to 6 on the G, third to first finger. Second finger on D8. And now we use the little finger on A10. Compress the hand and pull off to the first finger at 8. And then we want second and third finger, hammer 10, hammer 11. So, actually, sorry, I lie, third and little finger for those last two notes. Okay, second finger then on D9. Over to the G string, pick 8, hammer 10, hammer 11, hammer 12. Okay, then squeeze the hand, compress it like an accordion. First finger on B11. Relax, put the second finger on G12, hammer onto 13. B12 with the second finger. And then we've got another sort of hammer-on phrase. 11 with the first finger on the high E. Hammer 13, hammer 14, hammer 15. Pull off to 11 again. And then finally, last two notes, B12 to B11. Pick, pull off. Okay, here's the whole thing, nice and slow, played as it should be, basically. Here we go. And there we have it, 51 licks.